We have a couple of seats up front here. We got a couple of seats in the middle. Sorry, back there. There you go, sir. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everybody. How we doing? Oh, God, we got to work on this. Let's try it again. Good afternoon, everybody. How we doing? Keller Williams Preferred agents, raise your hand, please. Have you signed the iPad?
No.
Okay. We're going to send that over here, pass around. Keller Williams folks preferred, raise your hand again. All right, so for those of you visiting, we have to keep them up, keep them up, keep them up. We have a lot of visitors today. For those of you visiting, if you need to know directions to something, to the coffee pot, to the bathroom, you have plenty of people in here that can show you, okay? For those of you with preferred, make sure you welcome our guests. We appreciate you being here. All right, so for those of you that have no clue who I am, that have never taken a class, how many of you taken a class from me before? Raise your hand. Okay, that's good. So most of you are going to be on this. So for those of you that don't know, my name is Brian Pate. I moved here to Raleigh in 1989. August 20th, 1989 will be 30 years that I've lived in Raleigh. I moved here to become a ring announcer with World Championship Wrestling. And I did that for 3 years while also doing radio here in the Triangle area. So if you grew up on G105 or K97.5 back in the early 90s, then you might recognize my voice a little bit. Tell everybody I have a face made for radio. That's why I got out of the wrestling business. So, one of my favorite things about the wrestling business was how hyped everybody got. And my favorite guy of all time working with me was a guy named Ric Flair. And I was the official announcer for the Four Horsemen for 2.5 years, so I traveled around with them. So, whenever we do anything and we say something that you really like today, anything gets you all excited, we're going to do what we call 2 claps and a Ric Flair. Okay? So here's how we're going to do this. If you don't know what it is, 2 claps and a Ric Flair is as simple as doing this. You clap twice. Woo! Okay? So we're going to try it together. Make sure we got it all handled. You ready? On count 3, 2 claps and a Ric Flair. 1, 2, 3. Woo! Lots of energy like that. Who else needs to sign in? Okay, Miss Den. There you go. All right. So let me walk you through why we are here today. We are here because in my research, as you know, I'm a CE instructor also, and one of the new rules that we have in CE is the advertising rule. And a lot of people don't realize that the advertising rule passes through to social media, specifically Facebook. I would tell you that probably 80% of realtors that I know in the Triangle area at least are on social media, and they are on Facebook. Many of them are also on Instagram, and they've got stuff duplicating to Facebook and things like that. And then there are some of us, like me, that I enjoy Twitter. I like Twitter because I'm a headline reader. I grew up in the newspaper business. My daddy, grandfather, aunts, uncles, great-grandfather, etc. were all in the newspaper business. And so I get all my news from Twitter these days. So I spend about 15 minutes in the morning reading the headlines. If something's really interesting, I click on the link and read it. But I've noticed that Facebook is the predominant way that agents are communicating with their clientele. Number one, I think most agents are doing it poorly because they're shouting to the world. You might as well be standing on the corner like the town crier back in the early 1800s screaming that you have a new listing, which does you absolutely no good. The other thing that they're doing is they're not advertising legally, especially with the rule changes that have taken place. So that's where this class came from. If you don't know my experience background, I got licensed in 1993. I started teaching in 1995. I took the real estate exam before agency law in North Carolina existed. So my daughter always says that I sound like I sold houses to Fred Flintstone when I tell that. But we're going to talk about where we started and where we came. So let's take a look and hit the rewind button.
Our whole universe was in a hot, dense state that nearly 14 billion years ago expansion started. Wait, the year began to cool, the autotrophs began to groom, the
this next video is going to move quickly, so pay close attention. So let me ask you, which of those statistics stood out to you the most?
That the fish have 8 seconds.
The human being has an attention span of 7 seconds, and the goldfish's attention span is 8. That's a problem. Because basically that means somebody could stand in the back of the room, tap on the glass, and all of you would look back there to see what was going on, and then you would turn around and face front again. Am I making sense? How many of you remember the movie Up? Remember the squirrel? Remember that? We all operate that way. It's the way it happens, you guys. It all started back in the 70s. Anybody remember Saturday morning cartoons? Raise your hand. Raise your hand if you're with me. Gen Xers. Gen Xers, put your hands up, be proud. As Bill Geller would say, Gen Xers, be proud. Raise your hand if you're able. Okay? Right? Okay. So how many of you remember watching Saturday morning cartoons? Okay, so millennials and younger folks, here we go. Look, just take a ride on the Wayback Machine here, if you don't mind. Okay, Austin, let me give you some little history on cartoons. It wasn't always Ren and Stimpy. Happy, happy, joy, joy. That was not a cartoon. Okay? So here's my question to you. Which one was your favorite? The Flintstones? All right. How about, anybody remember the Super Friends?
Yes.
Meanwhile, at the Hall of Justice. Remember that? They always come back there. Anybody remember Speed Buggy and Tinker?
Yep.
And all these folks? Yeah.
Yes.
Scooby-Doo, like zoink, Scoob, where's the pot? You know Shaggy was baked out of his mind.
Oh,
That's what Shaggy was based on. Anybody remember the Slee Stacks from Land of the Lost? Oh, yeah. Man, this was on the Croft Super Show. Anybody remember Sid and Marty Croft with their super? Because it also had Electra Woman and Dinah Girl. Anybody remember that? That's one of those that one was for me. Just to be honest with you, I used to watch it. I used to freeze frame them on the VCR when I was young. I'm just saying, it is what it is. Back in the day, ladies and gentlemen, there was one that stood out to me.
He-Man.
Because I always, no, I was He-Man.
I got
I was He-Man. It was all there. Okay. No, the one, I'm always the guy that's looking down the road. I've always been that way. So the reason I look down the road It's because of my favorite cartoon. Anybody remember this? My mother knew that when she heard this sound, she was about to have 30 minutes of peace and quiet. And the best part of it was they played back-to-back episodes in the evenings on WTBS back in the early 80s. WTBS used to be Channel 17, back right when we were starting to get out of the age of 3 channels. Anybody else remember when there were only 3 channels on TV? And if the president was on, your night was shot. Remember that? Yeah. And how many of you changed channels with a pair of pliers on the old black and white TV? And your dad would say, "Hey son, I'm trying to watch the game. Go hold up the rabbit ears the right way." You know what I'm saying? This is the way things work. All right. So let's talk about I want to talk about my real estate career so you understand where it comes from. And there are a couple people, I'm not going to call any names or anything, that remember back in my day of real estate. But my first day in real estate, I was given these for supplies. It was a 3x5 file card box and a stack of 200 3x5 file cards. We walked into the first day of training and they said, "Pull out your address book and write down all of those names, addresses, and phone numbers." We didn't have email back then, by the way. Write down the name, address, and phone number of your top 200 people. Now, I had just come out of the bar business. I was DJing at Bow Ties at the North Raleigh Hilton. Anybody remember Bow Ties at the Hilton? Don't admit you were there. Don't admit you were there. It was fun, but don't admit it. But all of my friends were from Bow Ties, which means they were either too drunk or too broke to buy a house. So I realized very quickly I had to expand my sphere of influence. So as a result, what I did was I started holding open houses. I did 5 open houses a weekend, 3 weekends a month. That's how I started my business. I would do an open house on Saturday from 12 to 2, and another one from 3 to 5. And then on Sunday, I did a 10 a.m. to 12 noon, I did a 1 to 3, and I did a 4 to 6. So I had an 8-hour day every week. Every week. And I took 1 weekend a month off, and that was usually when I was going down to the beach or the mountains or something like that. Okay? That's the way I built my business. My first year I sold a mere 13 homes at an average of $81,000 each. If you were $1 million producer in '93, you were doing it with a $150,000 sale price. So it was a little different than it is now. Make sense? And then in 1994, I had a big closing and I upgraded. I bought a bag phone. Anybody remember the bag phone? Oh yeah! When that sucker rang and you put it up to your ear, you could feel the tumor growing in your cheek. 5 watts of power from Circuit City. Anybody remember Circuit City? On GTE Cellular that eventually became Cellular One. I chose Cellular One because they sponsored Ricky Craven's NASCAR car. That's what made me choose Cellular One instead of it was Bell South at that point. It was not yet AT&T. So I bought my first cell phone for $985, including installation at Circuit City. The first month I had it, I learned about something called roaming charges.
Oh yes.
So number one, I was paying $1.65 a minute on this thing, and if I roamed outside of Wake County, it was an extra $2 a minute. So I got my first phone bill, and it was $1,013.
Ouch.
Anybody remember the old telephone commercials? Reach out and touch someone. Remember those? Well, I called my daddy. I said, "Daddy, I need to borrow some money." He says, "How much do you need?" I said, "I need $1,013. This is 1994. He says, What do you need $1,000 for?" I said, "I got my first cell phone bill." He says, "And it's $1,000? I said, "Yes, sir." He says, "What'd you do? Reach out and touch everybody?" I said, "No, Daddy, it doesn't have but 1 hour of talk time a day after 15 hours of charging." Remember those days? You'd be talking on the phone and just dead. No warning, no low battery notification, just dead. D-E-D, dead. And the reason we were in the car all the time is because we had to drive down to the intersection of Wade Avenue and Overland Road to the Raleigh Regional Association of Realtors. They weren't always in that pretty building over in Cary where they are now. They were down on Overland Road. And we had to go to Overland Road in order to pick up the MLS books. The books had a single photograph of the house And you can see how little bitty the words are. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that is a photo of one of my MLS books. I still have held on to them all these years. If you've ever read a Bible, you know what the paper feels like in an MLS book. Okay? So we literally, this is where, how many of you have seen the 4-up display on Facebook, on MLS? This is where it came from. This is the old school way of looking at houses. We didn't pull up the 2-page full MLS sheet. So things were a little bit different. All of this to say, folks, the reason we were doing all of this was to communicate with our sphere of influence. How many of you have ever gotten a call from your friend? Hey, Joe, there's a house for sale at 123 Happy Hollow Lane. You don't even know where the hell Happy Hollow Lane is, but they think you know everything about that house because you walk through every house every day. You realize that the public thinks that all you do is drive around eating lunch and looking at pretty houses and driving your Mercedes. That's what they think we all do. They have no clue that about us sitting up at 11:30, 12, 1 o'clock, writing classes and making changes to the classes that we're writing. It's a different world. We communicate with everybody because we want them to think that we know every house on the market. We want them making that phone call. So we have to be ready for it. The difference is, folks, back then, it was okay to not communicate with people but once every 6 weeks because we didn't have the internet. Remember my father called me, you know anything about this interweb thing? Yeah, Daddy, I got an email address. That was 1990. I got my first email address in 1995. That was the year the internet went public. And it was the year, I didn't need to hear that. I didn't need to hear that either. Thanks, Vicky, so much. I was 3 years old. No correction, 2. Thanks, Vicky, I appreciate that. Thank you for your support. You don't need to go there again, okay? All right. So Facebook's replaced that, you guys. This is where it's different. See, with the interaction today, folks, you can communicate with your clients minute by minute in some cases. We have fluent conversations with them all day long. I've got clients that are now sending me messages through Facebook because email is too passé. Did you hear what I just said? Email is passé, Daddy, because it's slow. That's what I was told this morning. My daughter is going to Australia next Monday for 5 weeks of study abroad. She would not download WhatsApp so that she could text her father. I'm not real thrilled about it, but I can't do much about it because she's 18. All I can do is cut off her money supply, and I'm not going to do that when she's in Australia. I'm not bitter at all. She looks at me and says, Daddy, email's too slow. I said, well, how are you going to communicate with me if you don't do WhatsApp? Do you guys know what WhatsApp is?
I love it.
It's an international. You can pretty much go anywhere in the world and text as long as you're on Wi-Fi. And you can call them too. And it doesn't cost you anything.
Yeah.
I
Yes,
just
ma'am.
had a seller. She was in England, or not England. She was in Europe traveling and all over, and she was texting me, "What's going on with my listing?"
There you go. There you go. Yeah. How's that? They're on vacation in Europe, Sherry. My house has been on the market all weekend, and we ain't even got an offer yet. Where's that multiple offers above list price you were promising me? Well, you didn't do any of the crap I told you to do before you put it on the market. Remember that conversation? You get top dollar, it must be in top condition. You didn't listen to that. We've all been there. We have that conversation every day on Facebook.
Yep.
But now on Facebook, we all have to look like shiny, happy people. Today was the greatest day ever. Haven't you ever read some of these and you go like, I talked to you earlier. You were having a shit day. Let's stay straight. You know, what happened between 3 and 6 that turned your entire world around? But that's the way it can happen in this business, you guys.
Yeah.
We get up in the morning at 6 a.m. It's like, today's going to be an awesome day. We make 3 phone calls. We're like, yeah! And then at 9 o'clock, the buyer's agent calls. The house didn't appraise. Woo! And then down goes the roller coaster. And then you get that one handled. Your seller says, well, we're willing to give up $3,000. That's okay. We're willing to make that happen. Now the roller coaster goes up again. I'm like, yes! You're at the top of it. You're like, ah! And then the buyer's agent calls and says, hey, we just found out there's mold in the crawl space. Yum! This is what we do every day. You can watch it on Facebook. You can watch it. Whenever somebody posts a motivational quote, they're having a crap moment. It's like the millennial song. Has anybody ever heard the millennial song? Some of you heard it being in my class. But for those of you that don't know, here's what it is. There he sits inside the local coffee shop, sporting his man bun and facial hair. Somehow he believes, although he has no job, that by his 30s he will be a millionaire. MILLENNIAL. Gotta love millennials. She posts lots of selfies on her Instagram with a quote that's inspirational. Hopes to change the world while wearing yoga pants, armed with her dreams and knowledge of essential oils. This is what we're living on Facebook. This is what we're living on Facebook. And the kids, my daughter is 14, she will be 15 in 2 weeks if she lives that long. She knows that if her friends get a better offer than hanging out with her this weekend, they're gone. They're gone. That's the nature of social media. How many of you didn't know about this class until today and you saw it on a Facebook post? I know y'all drove from Burlington at the last minute. I know there's a couple of you. And then there were people calling me, "Save me a seat." No, get your ass here early. Not my job, your job, right? But this is what it's like, folks. So let's talk about how to use Facebook. All this is it is a A-B line of communication to your sphere of influence. It's no different from what we've been doing for the last 40 years in real estate. It's the basics, it's just aided by technology. So a couple of concepts we need to know first. The first one is it's an advertising concept. It's called reach and frequency. Reach and frequency. Reach, ladies and gentlemen, is how many people see your ad one time. How many people see your ad one time? Frequency is how often do people see the same ad. I'm going to give you a couple of examples here. Let's talk about last year's Super Bowl. Last year's Super Bowl, a 30-second ad was $5 million. Why in the world would somebody pay $5 million for a Super Bowl ad? Well, the answer is 111 million people watched it. And so that means for about $22 a person, you are getting a touch. Okay? That's just as good as the pumpkins that you hand out in the fall and all of the little Cinco de Mayo baskets you deliver on May 5th. And it certainly is cheaper than my Kentucky Derby party that I do for my clients every year. But this is why people are going after it. It's just big money because it's the single widest audience in the world every year. Are you with me? So the concept here is we're reaching all of these people with a single ad. Let's see how many of you remember this ad from this year's Super Bowl. Budweiser always has the best ads. Guy's shopping for beer. He picks up the wrong one. It's a client. Now, they paid $5 million for an ad that said nothing. Make sense? Now I know you understand the concept of frequency. I can prove it. How many of you have seen this ad?
Oh, guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? Huh? Anybody? Julie, hey, guess what day it is? Oh, come on, I know you can hear me. Mike. What day is it, Mike? Listen, guess what today is?
It's hump day.
Woo-hoo!
Ronnie, how happy are folks who save hundreds of dollars switching to Geico? I'd say happier than a camel on Wednesday.
Hump day!
Get happy? Get Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Thanks for watching the video.
Raise your hand if you've ever looked at someone and go, guess what day it is? Folks, I did that to my youngest daughter for about 3 years in a row. Every Wednesday morning at the bus stop, I go, hey Cassidy, guess what day it is? And she would go, just stop, please. But all of a sudden, I stopped doing it. And do you know how many, is Cassidy sick today? What's the matter? I'm like, what are you talking about? Well, you didn't do your hump day video. It's summertime. She's not going to school. So we're not going to, what do you mean you're not going to? You have to keep doing it. We do that every Wednesday. I'm like, well, then you need to do it with your kids. People get attached to that kind of information. All right? So let's talk about some basics. Before social media advertising does you any good, the first thing you need is a website. And I'm going to talk about websites for a moment because it's the most important piece of your business. I am blown away by the number of real estate agents that do not have a website that is in their control. I do not mean that you have fmrealty.com/Joe Smith. That is not your own website. That's their website. And that's the way most agents are. Okay? That's one of the unique things about Keller Williams is that we actually are encouraged to get our own URLs so that we control them, not so that the company does. I will tell you, when I left a previous company, they continued to search engine optimize my name with their name in order to gain business. And I know of 3 leads that closed with agents in my old company that were referred by the relocation department because they were using my website, and it's perfectly legal. Control your own destiny. Control your own destiny. Get your website. Brand your name. Well, if it's brianpate.com, if your name's too weird and you've got Steve Oklahosich, then don't spell it. Just do Homes by Steve. Am I making sense? If that doesn't work, Steve Holmes. Buy a home with Steve. Am I making sense? You have to have a website. The website needs 3 main pieces. It needs an IDX portion of it. The IDX is how you look at houses on a website. If you can't provide a link to a specific house on a post, your website is worthless. And don't worry, I'm going to give you some sources for websites here in just a minute, okay? Because I know some of you are going, well, where do I get one? Second thing it needs to have is a lead generation tool of some type. It needs to have something that hits you on your mobile device. Something that hits you on your mobile device. You can't wait for 3 hours to get back to your desktop to check email to get a lead. It's got to hit you through mobile. And the last thing, you need a blog or a video site, something like that, that people can come back to for new information on a regular basis. The biggest problem with most websites is they are stale and boring. And once you've read them once, you don't have to read them again for 3 years until the realtor updates them again. Because it's expensive to update a website constantly. Okay? So these are the 3 things that it must have. Now, some of you are getting ready to recognize some names in here. Because I got some samples of some ads that Realtors have placed. They all are aware that I'm using them. It's not done to embarrass them. It's done to teach here. So let's take a look at this one. I actually blocked this one because she did not give me permission to share her name. But she works with a company who I'm not going to say their names, but their initials are Real World Living. Okay? Now, 1309 Ingate Court, Bishop's Grant. Fabulous 4-bedroom. Where does this link go? It goes to Allen Tate. Allen Tate is like all of the other traditional companies around here. They have a relocation department. And they get that lead, and then they send it back out to the realtor with a 40% referral fee attached to it so they can support the relocation department.
Correct.
If you came from a traditional company, raise your hand. Anybody else been burned by this one? Am I wrong? Tom, you were there when I was there, man. 45% in some cases for a lead. Bite me. Control it yourself. Control it yourself. There's no need for that to happen. Here's another one for you. Look at this one. Where does this ad take you? What? Are you telling me you spent all this time to get a $450,000 listing? You got professional photos, you got a professional video, you spent weeks getting ready to market it, and now you're going to send your lead to Zillow, who's going to sell it to the highest bidder on their website? Really? Do you see where I'm coming from? Don't laugh. This is what about 50% of the real estate agents in our market are doing. They're sending the link to Realtor.com or Zillow.com. That is stupid. I don't mean to be rude, but if you're doing that, stop it. Stop it. Realtor.com sells leads the same way that Zillow is. Realtor.com is not owned by the National Association of Realtors. It's owned by a corporation called Move.com that is owned by Rupert Murdoch, who also owns Fox News. So if you're a Democrat, stop using Realtor.com. Make sense? Can we turn that on mute so it stops going on, please? So IDX is a must. IDX is a must. People have to be able to see pretty pictures on your website. Your pictures should be vibrant. By the way, walking around with your cell phone, snapping photos of your listing is not appropriate behavior in 2019. If you can't spring $150 for professional photos, you got a business problem because you're just making yourself look worse. Because I have been up against agents like that, and all I had to do was show them my photos and video, and I win. You never go into a listing appointment without knowing who your competition is. Because if I know who my competition is, let's say Joe's my competition in a neighborhood, I can pull up what Joe's sold, but more importantly, I can pull up what Joe's had expire or withdrawn. And I can say, well, here's Joe's numbers, here's Brian's numbers. Who do you really want to work with? Now, if Joe's numbers are beating me, I'm finding another angle, but I know how Joe's approaching it. Am I making sense? But folks, you got to have a good-looking website so that you can show it to people. You should be able to show them the website on their phone while you're sitting at the table with them. Show them what it does. Explain to them, this is how we get leads on your house. We're going to post links to this website all over the place. And it's not going to be the same ad everywhere. Each ad is going to be written to target a different audience. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Blogging. If you want to know how to blog, go look at the Bigger Pockets blog. And if you're on YouTube, how many of you have a YouTube channel? All right, let's try this. How many of you have an email address that ends in @Gmail? Then you have a YouTube channel, whether you know it or not. There are at least 3 YouTube channels you should be subscribing to. The first one is youtube.com/NCREC. If the North Carolina Real Estate Commission can do a video channel, you should be able to do it. And by the way, don't you think if the Real Estate Commission's taking time out of their schedule to make a 3-minute video, that maybe you should watch it? Maybe it's important enough you should check it out. So that's number 1. Second one, if you want to see how I do it, you can take mine and you can go through a process of R&D. What does R&D stand for?
Rip off and duplicate.
It's not research and development. It's rip off and duplicate. Take what other people are doing and copy it if they're doing it well. My YouTube channel is youtube.com/Brian Pate Realtor. That's BRIAN. As my mom would say, and that's Pate, spelled like the French pate, pronounced like you're in the South. Okay? And you should be able to spell, if you spell Realtor, R-E-E-L-T-O-R, we got a problem. Okay? Don't laugh, I had someone do that last week. Scary thought. The other one you need to go to is you need to go search Bigger Pockets. Bigger Pockets. You need to subscribe to these guys. They're very good. Daily posts. Daily posts almost. They're very good. So I would encourage you to follow those. What happens basically, when you click the red button that says subscribe, every time a new video is uploaded, you will get an email notification. And you can click on it directly. It does a deep drop, so it literally takes you the amount of time of the length of the video plus maybe 4 more seconds to see it. Okay, and then you X out of it, close it out, and you're done, and you're good. Make sense? All right.
I have a question.
Yes.
So you're watching the video, do you want us to repost the video on our website?
That's
or-
up to you.
Well, I don't wanna repost yours, but
You got something against my videos?
it's your
I don't want
advertising.
you, look, no, here's what I do. Every time, how many of you have seen my Facebook videos with the statistics?
Yes.
Okay, so I take all of those videos with the statistics. Because for those of you that don't know, if you friend me on Facebook, I do a live video at least once a week with the current statistics. I tell you how many homes are on the market in the Triangle area, and I tell you where that compares to where we are now. Sometimes we'll go back into the downturn in 2008 and 9 and compare to what it's like then. We talk about the statistics of how many homes are on the market, what the average sale price is, or the average list price, median list price, average and median days on the market. Then we talk a little bit about resale because that's where the real numbers are. Okay? So if all you have to do, I take those videos, I load them into any Video Converter Ultimate, I copy them, and I upload them to YouTube so that they're saved forever, so that I've got those to send out if I ever need to. I don't have to go searching back through Facebook. Make sense? So not only do you get my listing videos, you're going to get my statistical videos, and then one of my most popular videos that we recently did, when we take a listing, we do an on-camera lead-in to the listing video. So it's actually one of our Pate team members that does the video. It's usually me or Logan. And when you see how many times we screw up, we took all of the mistakes and turned them into a 1-minute video. We've got like 10 times the number of views on that as we do all of the stuff that I spend hours preparing every week on the live videos. Okay? So people like it when you can laugh at yourself. You don't have to be perfect. I mean, the Blair Witch Project, for crying out loud, stopped this perfect production scheme. Besides, your video camera's right here.
Yeah.
This video camera's better than the movie cameras from just 10 years ago. It's frightening what people are doing with these. There are people doing multiple camera angles, for crying out loud. It's crazy. It's crazy. But the opportunity is there. You have to learn how to get people's attention. You have to learn how to get people's attention. See, you don't realize it, but I'm manipulating you right now. Every time I turn that screen on, your face goes up to it. Every time I turn it off, you look down and you start writing notes and you turn your attention to me. I know exactly what you're doing because I can distract all of you all simply by doing this, because your attention span is shorter than that of a goldfish. See, you don't realize that when you're in these classes how much control the presenter is in. By the way, you are the presenter at every buyer consult you do and every listings consult that you do. You with me? So you better get some practice at this. We're going to teach you some things that you need to know about that kind of thing. Now, a couple of options for you. There's some website partners. Brivity is about $1,300 a month if you want to go big time. Knock yourself out. Spinks is more of a digital corporation. They do a lot of what's called retargeting ads. They'll do some social media stuff for you. Website Box is a website place. They will create you an in-the-box website. My two least expensive that are on here are Market Leader and Playster. Market Leader starts at about $49.95 a month, and that is your website alone. If you don't have a CRM, Market Leader can also provide you with that for $99 a month. So for $1,200 a year, you can have a website. Don't tell me it's not affordable. That's less than one closing a year to pay for this, and a little bit of time learning how to run it.
Can I recommend Dave at Market Leader?
Dave at Market Leader.
Yes.
All right, very good. Dave's got a fan. See, that's how, ladies and gentlemen, people hear about their business. How old are you?
29.
29! Remember 29, Henry? Vaguely? No. So this is the way that the millennials are working, folks. They got a name. They got a name. Hey, when you go to this restaurant, make sure you ask for so-and-so. She's my favorite server. Or I only go to the bar at this place on Wednesdays because that's when Bill works. That's the way the millennials operate these days, folks. They don't do business with companies. They do business with people. And by the way, millennials are 37% of your buying market in the first quarter of 2019. For you old folks like me, keep in mind, millennials begin to turn 39 years old this year. Freshmen going to college this fall have never licked a postage stamp. Their music has always been on their phone. They don't know what a CD is. Anybody else like me remember when CD stood for Certificate of Deposit? I remember back in my DJ days, one day I was playing in my room and I had my albums out. My youngest, she was about this tall at the time, she comes in, she pushes a chair up next to it, and she's doing this. And she's spinning on the ladder. She says, "Daddy, where'd you get the really big CDs?" I'm like, this is called an album, it's not a CD. What's that black? What's that? It's black. What's it made of? It's made of vinyl? You mean like the floor?
Oh.
You see where I'm coming? Things are different. Okay, so Market Leader's a great source. For $99 a month, you can get a website and a CRM. Very, very budget conscious. Playster is another one that's under $75 a month for the CRM and the website. They're going to allow you some changes and some customization, but not a significant amount. If you want a fully customizable, you can go to one of these companies like Brivity or Dacno, and you can actually design it from the ground up. I will tell you, designing a website is the hardest thing I have ever done in my life because I am a utilitarian guy. I don't care how pretty it looks. Does it have everything I need when I click on it? You're the same way, you in terms of developing it. So I had to have people that looked at pretty stuff and looked at flowers and said, "Ooh, that's a pretty flower," help design what the website looks like. Am I making sense? So know your role, and as my football coach in college said, know your role and shut your hole. If you don't know about it, hire somebody to do it. Don't try to do it yourself and learn something on the fly. Because there's a lawsuit in California right now where a realtor is being sued because their website was not ADA compliant. Let me say that to you again. The blind person is suing the realtor because they couldn't use the website. Think about that for a moment. By the way, all you have to do is click the button that says subtitles on your YouTube video, and it'll transpose it and put all of the subtitles on it for the hearing impaired, so you don't have to worry about things like that. And then you can just bury the YouTube video in there. So let's go back to our basics. This is what you came for. This is what you really came for. There are rules that we have to follow. I don't know if you're aware of that or not. But based on my research, a little less than 85% of the realtors that I see advertising on Facebook are doing it illegally. Some of you are sitting in this very room. Okay? I've been watching this for about 3 months because we taught in, how many of you taken your general update or your big up already this year? Raise your hand. Okay, just for the record, you got 24 days left. 24 days. Today is the first day that you can renew your real estate license. Wait till this evening because it's a slow site right now from what I understand.
Not really. I'm done.
Are you finished? Good, even better. Maybe they got it figured out. Everybody must have had it at 9 o'clock this morning.
Yeah, I tried it this morning.
Gotcha, very good.
Lunch, do it at lunch.
There you go. So let's talk a little bit about this. You've got two rules that mainly apply from the North Carolina Real Estate Commission, and then you have rules that apply from NAR as part of our code of ethics. Then we're also going to talk about search engine optimization and social optimization today. Now let's not get confused. Just so we're clear, we have two sets of rules to follow. One is for the National Association of Realtors. They have a one-click rule, and that's the one whenever I point out, hey, your advertising is illegal. They say, well, it's only one click away, just like the rule says. Well, that's the national rule for the Board of Realtors. That's not the Real Estate Commission's rule. Who do you think is more important? The Real Estate Commission, because they can take your license and make sure you never have to worry about an AR again. You with me? So, Section 58A, General Statute 58A, is where the advertising rules are located, and we're going to reference those. So let's go through this. Number one, NAR's policy requires the following items. You need to have the city you're operating in and the firm name. That went too fast. Wait a minute. Okay, there we go. City you're operating in and the firm name. You now have to have the firm name. Now I will tell you, this gets more complicated if you are on a team. If you're on a team and you are advertising in the name of the team, it gets more tedious. For example, my team is the Pate Realty Group. We are DBA Pate Realty Group, so we have an assumed name certificate registered with the Secretary of State and with the North Carolina Real Estate Commission, so that if we get in trouble, they know who to come after. You with me? So when I place an ad, I have to hashtag Pate Realty Group and Keller Williams Preferred. By the way, remember, if you're with Keller Williams or RE/MAX, each of those is independently owned and operated. So Keller Williams Preferred is a different license from Keller Williams Raleigh, from Keller Williams Cary, from Keller Williams Elite and Legacy and Platinum, and all of the different ones that appear in this area. So when if you're doing a transaction and you're in this office, and you're doing a transactions with Keller Williams Cary, we are not dual agents at any point in that transaction. It's a buyer's agent and a listing agent. Same thing for RE/MAX 1 versus RE/MAX United. Same concept. The only time it's straight dual agency is if those two agents are actually in the same office. So we've got to dictate which one of those we are with. You can't just put Keller Williams or RE/MAX on your ads. You have to put which one you're with. Because just naming the national brand is not enough. You with me? So that's why we have to be careful. So when I put our ads out on Facebook, they always are tagged with the Pate Realty Group at Keller Williams Preferred. That's what our business page says that, and every ad that we do. By the way, well, Brian, I'm just going to use a photograph that's got the Keller Williams logo and my team's logo. Not enough. Not enough, says the Real Estate Commission. You have to mention it in the body of the ad. And this is where most people are missing the boat. Even if you are just an individual sole proprietor with Keller Williams or RE/MAX, and you're not putting Keller Williams Preferred in the body of your ad, you are potentially advertising illegally. Make sense?
Something?
Certainly.
There was a panel, I think,
I
a
know.
few weeks ago,
Yep,
and I talked about the hashtag.
Yes.
That works.
Yep, just use the hashtag. Hashtag Keller Williams Preferred. Hashtag Pate Realty Group. Hashtag the Joe Ward Team. It's easy to do. Michelle?
So on every Instagram live,
Yes.
adding to the story, I need to have hashtag on every.
Everywhere you're posting words, you need the name of the team if it's a real estate ad. Here's where it gets difficult. Give me 2 seconds, Sherry, let me get through this. Here's where it gets difficult. How many of you have ever been to a broker open house or a new construction site and at their luncheon and you posted a photo of a feature from the houses that you were looking at? On site at a broker luncheon today, look at this pretty house. The Real Estate Commission says that is an ad. It is designed to have evidence of success for you as a licensee. So, well, Brian, I'm not advertising my listing. No. You're a real estate licensee. You're no longer a human being. Look at the person sitting next to you and say, you're no longer a human being. Okay? And by the way, this is my favorite one. I had a student in class that was an on-site agent whose license was inactive. Said, well, I don't have to follow those rules because my license is inactive. You have a license. Even if your license is inactive, you still have to do all of your ads in compliance with Real Estate Commission rules. You still have to present the Working with Real Estate Agents brochure at first substantial contact. You don't get to just waive off responsibility because your license is not active at the moment. It's when it should be more important to you to do it correctly. Am I making sense? In addition to this, the agent's also got to put the agent name, city you're operating in, firm name. Here's George Jensen, GRICRS Joe, do you know what GGTK stands for? Stands for Good Guy to Know. It's not an official NAR designation. He's with Spacely Sprockets Realtors in Burlington, North Carolina. There's the phone number, there's the Twitter, that's his business card. But notice the business card has the firm name. It has the city. Yeah, your real estate business card's supposed to have the city that you're working in and the areas that you serve on it. Some of you are looking at me like, oh my God. All right, here we go. This is when the fun begins. Sherry?
So the question I had, when you're posting a picture, say you've gone to somebody's open house, does it need to be that location or the city your firm is registered in, or?
Okay, so her question is about where do we need to put as our service area? Raleigh-Durham area, North Carolina is what I put. I've sold houses in 19 different counties around here. See, whatever you do, don't list all 100 counties in North Carolina. That would be a long business card and nobody's ever gonna read it. Rebecca?
Can you do just like a hashtag, like you said, the firm name for the area?
Yes, hashtag Keller Williams Preferred, hashtag Raleigh-Durham. Or hashtag Raleigh, hashtag Durham. Hashtag Wake Forest, hashtag Clayton. Yeah, all day, every day. Better yet, tag the city in your post.
Right.
Because occasionally repost from them. The town manager of Knightdale mentioned one of my posts on their most recent meeting when I told them what their average list price was for their homes in their market. And he mentioned me in front of everybody. I got 3 phone calls the next day from people in Knightdale. What do you mean the average list price over here is $300,000? My house is only worth $125,000. That's because you're in a mobile home. If you'll take the wheels off of it, put it on bricks, somebody will pay $300,000 for it, I'm sure. That's what they think at least, right? Do you see where I'm coming from? Jim?
Does triangle area work, or is that not specific?
Well, what's the triangle area?
Right.
I'd be, at least be specific with the city. See, one of the things the Real Estate Commission's starting to bear down on, Real Estate Commission's a little frustrated with real estate agents selling houses in Youngsville and Dunn and Greenville and Raleigh. How can you possibly know those areas well enough to know what facts need to be disclosed about them? Unless you've got somebody living in that area that's a specialist in that area, it's very difficult for me to keep up with what's going on in Wake Forest, and I'm an elected official for crying out loud. But just be aware, the Real Estate Commission is starting to watch a lot closer about how agents are representing themselves and representing the areas that they are serving. You need to know what's going on. How many of you sold a house in the last 3 years in Wake Forest or North Raleigh up Durant Road, Perry Creek, Wakefield, Falls River, any of those areas? Yeah. How many of you disclosed the US 1 corridor plan?
What?
I rest my case. Yes.
And Brian makes a great point, because I'm running into the same issues down in Fayetteville. We've got a lot of agents from the Raleigh area coming down to the Fayetteville area, and they're applying the Raleigh stuff to Fayetteville, and they're lost. They're lost. And I had an agent list a property that I wrote an offer on and said it was septic, and it's already been on city sewer for 15 years.
Right.
So little stuff like that. But they disclosed it in the listing.
Well, there's a couple of problems with this. Number one, I've had agents call me, hey Brian, I need your help. I've got a friend that wants to sell their house in Wilmington and I'm going to list it for them. I'm like, you live in Raleigh. Why the hell would you do that? Can you imagine you took a listing in Wilmington and your client called you, Yasmin, we're out of flyers. Please come refill them. It's another good reason to not do a flyer box anymore. It's a waste of money anyway, because all they're doing is driving up to the house and Googling the address. Don't worry, ladies. Googling is not a dirty word. It's okay. All right? But this is what's going on today. We're reaching for money. Everybody's chasing money right now, and that's when people get in trouble. I'm telling you, in another 24 to 36 months, we are going to thin the herd of realtors, because the market's already showing signs of slowing down, not in terms of prices, because prices are going to continue to escalate, but not as quickly, but the market's slowing down. It's a lot harder to get a listing right now. And here's why. I got a call 3-4 weeks ago. I've had my license for about 15 years and I want to activate it because a friend of mine has a $600,000 house they want to sell and I want to make some money off of it. Will you supervise my license for that transaction? Well, when's the last time you were active? 2005? No. But you can refer it to me and I'll activate the license, let you refer it to me, and then pay you a 25% referral fee. He's like, well, I'm not going to do that. There's too much money in it. Really? Is $18,000 going to change your life that much that you're willing to risk everything, especially the friendship? Because if you screw up a $600,000 sale, you ain't friends anymore. I'll promise you that. Am I making sense? Okay? A lot of this is just straightforward logic, folks. Here's NAR's internet policy. Licensed entities may display or distribute electronically or otherwise information about properties listed by other licensed entities only with the authorization of the listing broker. Okay. I have no problem with you using my listings to try to help get you business, but you better darn well ask for my permission before you do it rather than forgiveness after you did it. Okay? We have a lot of newer agents, and there are a couple of offices in the Triangle teaching this, and they should stop it immediately, and I hope you're watching, because they should stop it immediately. But they're telling their agents, just go to your own website, copy that listing that you like, and post it, and say shared from my website, and that eliminates responsibility. No, it doesn't. Just because you've got the right to have it on your website doesn't mean you've got the right to present it as if it's your listing.
Correct.
That's not only a violation of the ethics in NAR, it's a violation of law because you don't have permission to advertise that listing because you don't have a written agency agreement. You see where I'm coming from, all right? So we've got to understand this. So let's go through the NCREC rules. There are two of them, 0105 and 0108. So let's talk about what they are. This is the first one, 0105. I'm going to read this to you because this is so small. A broker shall not advertise any brokerage service or the sale, purchase, exchange, rent, or lease of real estate for another or others without the consent of his or her broker in charge and without including in the advertisement the name of the firm or sole proprietor with which the broker is affiliated. In other words, you're supposed to have permission from your broker in charge before you place each ad. I'll let that one sink in for a moment. Technically, if you put an ad out there, the real estate commission assumes that your broker in charge approved it. If you're the broker in charge of your team, you should make sure that you are friends with all of your agents and that you are monitoring their advertising. Okay? That's part of the reason Sarge joined Facebook when she came to this office. She hates Facebook. She despised it. But she got on it because she knew she had to keep an eye on things. Now it defaults to a few of us that keep an eye on it for her. So if she calls you and says, hey, I got a problem with your advertising on Facebook, you can probably bet that I sent her an email about it with a photograph of it. Okay? Because we've all got to be helping each other out. Jordan Clark. Anybody know Jordan? He and I are good friends. Yep. And Jordan gets aggravated with me because he does these contests. Can you predict the price? And he forgets to put the Jordan Clark group at Keller Williams in his company. And so I always type in the comments, forget something, question mark? And I can't tell you what he texts me, but in public he says, thanks for the reminder. That's not what he texts me. Usually suggesting I go have sex with myself or something like that. So you're aware, right? But this is really important. You've got to understand that the ads placed are the responsibility of the broker in charge. They've got the responsibility to supervise. You have to have consent of the BIC. Any questions on that?
So we don't have one that you did.
Well, if we really wanted to aggravate the BIC, we could tag them in every post, but I wouldn't do that. Can you imagine? We have 361 agents in this office. Can you imagine if every ad we placed on, I mean, how many of you have checked in or posted that you were attending the class in this room today? You know, you should be doing that. That's good advertisement for you that you're sharpening your skills for your clients. That's always a good thing. But can you imagine if all of us did that and tagged Sarge? Her phone would sound like the 4th of July. It would be going off constantly. Okay? Second piece of it is to remember that anytime you place an ad, the name of the firm must be in the body of the ad. The name of the firm must be in the body of the ad. Again, be careful if you're with a national firm and make sure you're advertising in the name of the separate franchise, okay? You're Remax 1? United, okay. So anytime you place an ad, it can't just be, you could do hashtag Remax, hashtag Remax United, hashtag the Joe Ward team. Make sense? So that's the way you guys should be doing it. Same thing for everybody else here, all
So
right?
you have to do Keller Williams and then KW?
No. As long as you have Keller Williams Preferred, you got everything you need. But remember, we're advertising so that the most people see. By the way, hashtags are king on Instagram and Twitter. If you're not using 10, 12 hashtags every time you post, you're missing opportunities. Okay? So, but just make sure the first one is the team name and the firm. But you should also be using hashtag real estate. Hashtag Realty RDU is a popular one. Hashtag real estate buzz and realty buzz. All of those are being used. So take advantage of it. Take advantage of it. And I know a lot of agents use hashtag, Brian, my ad's fine because I use hashtag KWPR. Does the public have any idea what KWPR means? Could be Ken Washington's public relations for all we know. Remember, what's the real estate commission there for? To protect the public. Protect the public. All right, let's see how you do on this one. Let's give you an example. Tom Smith, who's a broker with XYZ Realty, places the following listing ad. 3-bedroom, 2-bath home on 0.14 acres, city water and sewer. Call Tom Smith Broker, 919-555-5555. And that's the phone number of the firm's main line. Is he legal?
No.
No, he's not legal. He's missing the name XYZ Realty. That's something. It's got to appear on every ad. Pardon me? Well, that's for NAR purposes. Remember, NAR? Okay, so his question was, that's in the city, right? Well, it depends. If this is my ad, and I can click once and get to the profile to say what city I'm in, I'm compliant with NAR under the one-click rule. You with me? Two completely separate rules. Real Estate Commission rule versus NAR rule. Everybody follow me on that?
Yeah.
Can you repeat it? Or
Okay, so let's say we've got Tom Smith's ad here, and we click on Tom Smith's profile photo. That's going to take us to his page, and it's going to tell us all the things that NAR requires. He's a realtor. He's with XYZ Realty. They're based in Chocowinity, North Carolina, and he's licensed in the state of North Carolina. That's all we really need for NAR purposes. But the Real Estate Commission says it better say XYZ Realty in the body of his ad. Okay? Questions? Don't make your big mad. Put the firm name in the ad. Thank you. I wrote that myself. Hashtag, hash brown, whatever you want to call it. Okay? So let me tell you, the personal page posts are where most people get in trouble. The personal page posts are where people get in trouble. When you're posting from your business page, as long as you have the correct name for your business page, you're perfectly legal. It's the personal pages that are the problem. It must include the name and the body of the firm. This is a post literally from yesterday. And you can see how I did it. This was done as a Facebook Live. I did the Facebook Live because if I did a pre-recorded video and uploaded it to YouTube, I get about 12 views. But because of Facebook Live, I get 245 views. Okay? And I just used the hashtag Pate Realty Group and Keller Williams Preferred. That's all there is to it. It doesn't have to be complicated. Don't make it more complicated than it is. Put the team name if you have one, and put your firm name with it. And make sure it's specific to the firm. Okay? A logo on a photo is not enough. If this was a photo and I had Keller Williams Preferred down here, that's not enough. It doesn't identify the team name. Well, Brian, can I put the team logo with it and the Keller Williams logo? No! The Real Estate Commission says it's got to be in the white space up here. Well, what happens if I wrote too much up there and I have to click see more to see it? The Real Estate Commission's okay with that. But you better be able to find the name of the firm and the name of your team in there. Are you tracking with me? I've tried to say it about 30 different ways to make sure we're clear. We have more liability posting to our personal pages than we do posting from our business pages. Cindy first, then Becca. Yes, ma'am.
So if you are showing another agent's listing,
okay,
and you have gotten that her ad came to me, it was like through some company, I don't know, new, so.
Okay.
I don't know that.
All right.
So they
I'm not
sent me-
new. I'm just still seasoning.
I'm seasoned.
Simmering. Simmering.
Very undercooked. So then I just posted that, but I could not change that. I could not edit that.
That's correct. You would have to share that post. Showed this house this afternoon. It's a gorgeous home. Thanks for letting me show it, and tag that agent's name so you're patting them on the back. Folks, tagging other people is a great way to pat them on the back.
No, but when I was doing this, like come see me.
Oh, now that's a whole different ballgame. If you're hosting the open house,
Yeah.
all you got to do is put Keller Williams Preferred under there, and that's your listing as far as we're concerned for the open
But
house.
I could not edit it because it came from that third source.
Oh, no. You pick up your phone and do a live video. Hi, this is Cindy. I'm hosting an open house today for Brian Pate at 25 Jimmy Swan Drive. Come see me. Nothing wrong with that, as long as you mention that it's my listing and don't try to pass it off as yours.
Right. So either share from her Facebook or go
Yes.
with my own picture.
That is correct.
Okay.
That is correct. Okay, Becca?
So I know you said to have it in the white space, so should we just not even worry about putting the logo on the picture then?
Oh, I
or-
put the logo on the picture so that if somebody steals it, they have to edit it in order to get it there.
Okay.
Make sure you put your logo somewhere over the house itself, so that in order to crop it out, the scammers have to actually remove part of the house.
Right.
Okay?
Same as
Question?
your video.
Yeah, same as a video. Yes?
So if you're in a team and it's, somebody else is listing the team, you still have to put that and say, okay, you can say it's yours.
You could say it's your listing from the team because you're part of that team. You automatically have permission. The reason you're on the team is to share information. Yep. Yes, Henry?
So on your personal page, say you're doing that, and then you're doing a recipe where you're showing kittens.
Yes.
And you're just doing that to draw attention, you are advertising.
That's okay. So what Henry's asking is, what if I'm posting a cat video or something? I'm not really intentionally advertising, but I'm just trying to get attention. That's called stopping the scroll. That's the goal of social media, is to stop the scroll. We've been saying that for years. Give me something that gets enough of attention as you're... Think about it. We're doing this. What do you have to do to make somebody go, wait a minute, what was that? That's literally what we're advertising for. It is no different than mailing out a postcard years ago, because you know as well as I do. How many of you ever mailed a postcard? Mail a postcard. Where do we read the mail these days? Right over the trash can. Oh, crap, bill, crap, letter from ex-wife, bill, crap. Yeah. Okay? Some of these jokes are for me. The point is, though, we're doing the same thing with the scroll. If attention, remember, the max you're going to get their attention is 8 seconds. And that's if you're marketing to goldfish. If you're marketing to people, you only get 7 seconds. Yes, ma'am.
I post a lot, so...
No! Becca, no!
Like, I feel like there's a fine line between, sometimes I'm just posting like what I'm doing, but I'm not posting a house, or I might post, I have a closing, or this or that, but it's a picture of me.
If you post that you had a closing, that's a real estate ad. It's called evidence of success marketing.
Okay.
If you're working out and you're trying to, hey, come work out with me for the next 25 minutes. And I'll buy you Starbucks afterwards. We got a lot of agents that do this. Hey, I got a $100 card at Starbucks. When it's gone, but come by and visit me. You darn well better have your information on there, because that's an ad. If I'm walking through, if I show a picture of a house or a kitchen or any part of a house, I consider that an ad. Here's the challenge with it, Becca. Do you want to be in front of the real estate commission with an attorney that you paid a $10,000 retainer for to go with you to defend yourself over whether it was an ad or not?
No.
Exactly. So let's just be overly cautious. You realize that on YouTube, any video that you post, you can program it to automatically say the same thing on every video. So it's got the same tags, it's got the same information. You just put the name of the company right underneath there. You can have a Word doc that says, here's the basic outline and the basic format for my Facebook post. That's what I do. If you look at my Facebook posts, they all look similar because they're from a template. It's no different than your contract template that you're using in DocuSign or Dotloop. Yes, ma'am. Vicki?
Becca, right? I'm just trying to understand your question. Was your question about taking a picture of yourself but talking about?
I guess anything real estate related. Anything.
If you're talking now, Becca is known for her workout and exercise videos. I watch for about 3 seconds and I'm out of breath. Okay, but if she's sitting in a house and even if she's showing herself, but she's talking about real estate, that's a solicitation. That's, hey, look at me, I need clients. That's what it's all doing, folks. That's ultimately what we're doing. Hey, I need some clients. Bring them right here. That's what we're saying.
Yeah.
So if you say Keller Williams Preferred, that doesn't count. It's
No,
still
it's
gotta
be in the body. I still open every video. Hi folks, Brian Pate from the Pate Realty Group at Keller Williams Preferred. It is ingrained in me. I do it every time. But I still have to have the information in the white body of the post. CYA, so that you don't have to CYA. The second one is call your attorney. Greg?
Back to advertising other people's listings.
Yes.
I did an open house a couple months ago for Ginger's team. I'm not
Yes.
part of Ginger's team. I don't
Right.
think I mentioned her in my advertising.
You don't have to.
Okay.
That's your listing if you're hosting the open house.
Okay.
That's
You
fine.
did say that.
They've given you permission to market it by letting you be at the open house. You've got it.
Oh.
You've got it, yeah.
If you just go to an agent preview and see a beautiful porch or something and do a picture of it, do you need to get permission?
Nope, you don't have to get permission for that anymore. But when you post it, it's an ad.
Yeah, I got it.
How we doing? Good questions. All right, let's keep moving forward. Retention of records. You remember when we talked about pre-licensing, that when you place an ad, you have to keep a copy of it for a minimum of 3 years? Yeah, by the way, that includes all advertising used to market a property. So, Becca, here's what I'd like to do. I'm from the Hi Becca, my name's Brian Pate, I'm from the North Carolina Real Estate Commission. I need to see all of the marketing and advertising that you've done on social media for the last 6 months, please. Can you pull those up with your files, and you've got 24 hours to produce them for us? She's not doing anything different than any other realtor in this market is doing. Because we're not saving them the way we're supposed to. So I'm going to teach you an easy way to do it. Now you're going to look at me and go, are you kidding me? I got to do that for every ad? The answer is yes. Don't roll your eyes at me in that tone of voice, young lady. I heard that. Alright? So let's show you what happens here. Remember, we have to retain the ads. It includes print, social media, everything. Everything. So let's walk you through how to save your posts. Create a folder for all of your listings. And whenever you're advertising your listing, label that folder as advertising. And there's a snippet function on a PC computer. Go down into Cortana and just type snippet. It's called Snippet Editor. Learn how to use it. It's a screen grabber. Basically says I'm going to take this ad and I'm going to turn it into a photograph and I'm going to save the photograph. Okay? If you're on a Mac, it's Command, the little flower, Shift, and the number 4.
Or screenshot. That's the new.
Well, you can do screenshot, but that's going to take the whole screen. Okay? You don't want the whole screen here, you just need the ad. Okay? So screen grab the ad. Once you do that, you're going to keep it in chronological. I'm sorry, Jolene just gave me that dirty look because I clicked it before she had taken the photo. I'm giving you my system. I'm giving this to you. It makes it very easy. Am I okay, Michael, am I good?
You're good.
Good? All right. So here's what you do. You start it with the year. And I've got an example down here at the bottom. The year, the month, the date, the address, and what you're advertising. So I have 135 Happy Hollow Lane coming soon ad. So a week later I may have open house ad. I may have a feature, I call it a feature ad, when I'm taking a photo of the master bedroom and showing the bevel tray ceiling and the ceiling fan. I'm being specific to that. That's called a feature ad. I'll do OH for open house, CS for coming soon. But if you do this, every ad that you get, you'll have it in chronological order. So if you get a complaint from the Real Estate Commission and you can copy and paste all of these and send it right back to them, they're going to go, okay, I'm not worried about this agent.
Right.
It's a huge bonus to be that prepared. But if you don't prepare up front and then they send it to you and you got to go back through Facebook, hey, I got some bad news. When Facebook realizes that you're posting an open house ad on your personal page, they're eventually going to delete it. And they're not going to tell you they're going to delete it. And now you're stuck without any compliance. This is part of the reason that agents are using the business page. Because if you're using the business page, they don't delete anything because from a compliance standpoint, they know that people have to keep their advertising. They're business people. You with me? So if you, the easiest way to fix this is to go into Facebook, create a business page, post your ads to the business page, and just share them to your personal page, and there is no problem. You with me? That's the easiest way to do this. Any questions? Yes, Barbara?
When I make my post quite a while ago, I used to be able to make my business post on my page and then share it to Raleigh, share it to whatever community site I
Yep.
Now when I go to share it to group and put that in, it's not like it shouldn't go. It's almost like I have to go to each individual site.
Yeah, you gotta make, they're starting to, Facebook is stopping people from sharing the same ad over and over again in 35 different places.
Yeah.
And that's part of the reason you need to be doing a different ad. They're targeting different people. How many of you are familiar with the DISC test? Everybody know what the DISC is? Different people are going to notice different things about your ad. Okay? So you gotta market to different people for different reasons. You are not going to market to wives that are stay-at-home moms that are and tell them about the workbench in the basement. That's going to go to Mr. Putsy. You know what I mean? So you gotta look at that. You gotta decide where you're placing your ad. You should have a dozen different ads for a single property. That's why this gets so complicated so quickly. You know, we talk about as agents doing your lead generation. Placing ads is part of your lead generation. The nice part about it is you can do it while everybody else is sleeping.
I'm just curious, did you say that you're making an advertising folder under each listing or just in?
I have, okay, so Melissa's question is asking me how I set it up with the folders. Here's how I do it. This is my way. You don't have to do it this way. If you've got a better way, knock yourself out. I have a folder on my computer that's backed up to Amazon Drive. And every time I make a change in it, at the end of the night, I click a button and it updates everything to Amazon Drive. So I got everything in the cloud, and any active listing or active buyer is also on the desktop. Okay? So if I take a listing at 123 Happy Hollow Lane, I got one of these little folder icons and it says 123 Happy Hollow Lane. Double click on that and open it up. I've got a lot of pieces of information. I've got my coming soon photos that I took when I put up the sign. I've got my professional photos in a different folder, and it's labeled professional photos with the address, because if you just have a photo list in every one of them and you've accidentally moved that folder, you have no clue what the photos are of. See, people don't make their descriptions long enough and they lose stuff. All right? So I go in there and I put photos, 123 Happy Hollow Lane, professional. Then I have another file that says advertising, 123 Happy Hollow Lane. And that's where all of this stuff goes. Make sense? And then I do the same thing that Dotloop and DocuSign does. I have a folder with the listing paperwork, I have the contract paperwork, and I have the closing paperwork. It's all in that file, because at the end of it, I get a jump drive and I hand it to my client. Here's everything I ever did for your listing. And then I give it to the buyer, because that way when they get ready to sell it, they're holding on to that thing, they plug it into their computer. What was the name of our agent? I don't remember the name of our agent, but the guy that sold was the listing agent's already got all this info. Let's go to him. That's called orphan buyers. 88% of people could not name the name of their real estate agent at less than 2 years after they had bought their new house. You know why? Because we suck at keeping in touch, Cindy. If you're new, the best thing you can do is keep in touch with people. Reach out and touch someone. That's a callback from earlier today. Okay? All right. That's right, exactly. So let's talk a little bit about some of these are kind of tips and stuff for you, okay? This is not stuff that's legal. This is how to build your business off of it. So I've got you legal now. Are there any questions on the legality part? Yes, David.
Yeah, so I heard from another realtor of mine.
They were wrong. I'm sorry.
She heard it at a CE class that she attended a few weeks ago. That in addition to firm and that city, you have to have your license number in the post.
That is incorrect. There is no law in North Carolina yet about the license number appearing in a post. That is for mortgage lenders.
Okay.
That is for mortgage lenders. So folks, it amazes me.
Yeah.
The number of people that attend my CE classes and then quote me a couple weeks later, I'm like, what freaking class were you in? Because, I know what it is. They're sitting here doing this all day. And I mean, don't think you're hiding it from an instructor. If you're looking down at your crotch during class, I hope you're on your phone. Okay? Yes, Jim.
Do you have recommendations for saving like Insta stories, Facebook stories, stuff that disappears?
Nope. I don't use them for that very reason. Everything that appears in them is a post typically, so I would save the individual posts. I'm not a fan of stories for that very reason.
You can save your Insta stories.
Go ahead, Dan.
You can actually, you can save the stories and then you can download it from Instagram.
Yep.
But just make sure you click and save every single.
There you go.
Yep.
But it won't save to your photo drive, it saves to your Instagram, and then you have to download from your Instagram account down to your phone.
Okay.
See, that's too many steps for me.
Then you jump down, turn around.
That's too many steps for me. All right. Woo. All right. So let's talk about search engine optimization. How many of you have heard this phrase?
Yes.
How many of you know what it means? Let's have some fun. If you got a mobile device in front of you, whether it's computer or beeper, buzzer, blaster, whatever you're holding, go to your browser and go to Google. Just type in your name. This should be fun. Because what appears on that search, ladies and gentlemen, is done by search engine optimization. It's Google crawling across the internet, finding your name. Finding your name and saying, that's the guy. Here's a photo of Austin doing a keg stand in college. Okay, see, Michelle's laughing because she knows what a keg stand is. Did you go to ECU? Just checking. Becca went to ECU. She knows what a keg stand is. We know that. So the whole idea, folks, is getting more traffic to your website from integrated content. People have paid thousands of dollars for search engine optimization. I have a trick to give you if you'd like that will save you a ton of money. Just you. How many of you have ever been on YouTube and you've watched a video and over on the right hand side it says suggested videos? Okay? I would tell you SVO is more important than SEO these days. And what I mean is suggested video optimization. What this means is find a video on a topic that you're discussing in your video and use the exact same tags that are in that other video that's got thousands of hits. Find a video that's got like 150,000, 200,000, 1 million hits on it. So that every time that video comes up, yours appears as suggested video over on the right-hand side. I learned this about 6 months ago, and the views on my YouTube channel have almost quadrupled. I was blown away.
Can you repeat?
Okay.
Hey, look, as soon as you said quadruple, all of a sudden everybody.
All right, so let's go back through it. Everybody's familiar with YouTube. You look at the screen, you see a video. It's the video you're watching. It's got 1 million hits because everybody's watched it. So you've got a topic that's similar to that video. On the video, there are tags. They're no different than hashtags. It's just that YouTube is unique to these tags. So if you copy their tags and do them in the exact same order, then the videos are considered to be of similar material. They're going to have the same information in them. It's just you describing it in a different way. Make sense?
Makes sense.
You don't need to add some little ending tag at the end of that main tag?
You copy theirs, and then the last tag is my name, Brian Pate. Well, every video's got to have my name in it, so that if they search, if you go to YouTube and you search Brian Pate Realtor, you're going to see a ton of my videos. Because we've been working on this for 10 years. We got like 400 videos up there, and it's everything from my kids on their sleds when it was snowing when they were little, to houses that I've listed, to information that I've shared. Okay. But that's what you're doing. You're copying somebody's tags.
And then, but also on that tag, we have to have your Keller Williams Preferred, is that correct?
Yeah, well, somewhere in there it's got to be labeled that you're with Keller Williams Preferred, but that's done in the description, not the tag. Would Keller Williams Preferred be a logical tag to use though? Yeah, because if everybody else from this office is using Keller Williams Preferred, we show up as suggested videos on each other's listings. Make sense? Show.
Would KW prefer?
Nope.
Or?
Nope.
Okay.
That's not legal. Nope.
Lots of type.
Nobody in the real world knows what KW means. I have a guy that calls me about once a month trying to sell me stuff. Mr. Williams? I'm trying to get in contact with Keller Williams. Yeah, he's out of the office at the moment.
He's a musician.
He is a musician. So let's talk about building your brand page, your personal page. Number one, stop bragging. I got a new listing! 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 Here's a picture of my dog. I got a new listing! Here's a picture of my cute kids. I got a new listing! I'm at an open house. This is a slow open house. I'm posting a video. An hour later, it's still a slow open house. Please God, somebody come see me. I know it's in STEM, but if you Google it, you can find it. I swear. That's what you're doing if all you're posting is real estate stuff. 1 to 10. Yep. 1 to 10. If one post is business, the next 9 should be personal. There's nothing that says that it can't relate to real estate. Here's my new listing. And then I'm going to take a picture of me and Becca and Jolene out at the open house for the new $1 million model in whatever plantation. Hey, come take a photo. And we take a photo. We're having fun. But by the way, that's a real estate ad. We're just being covert. Folks, that's something very important for you to write down that you need to hold on to. I'm getting ready to give you $10,000 worth of lesson in one statement. Anybody know who Grant Cardone is? Yeah. I know a few of you do. This is what I picked up from GrowthCon. This is the single best. I paid like $8,000 to go to GrowthCon. This is the single best thing I picked up. Are you ready for it? Mm-hmm. All right. It's not about how many people you know. It's not about how many people you know. It's about how many people know your name. It's not about how many people you know. It's about how many people know your name. If you're only posting listings and open houses and just sold, you're not engaging. You're not engaging if that's what you're doing. People get bored with it. The only people impressed with how many listings you're taking are the agents that want to beat you. Not physically, but in business. Okay? If you're posting stuff and you're only getting 1 like and that's from your mother, that's not good. That means your content is boring. It's not engaging. It's not engaging. You should have an entire cheerleading squad posting underneath your posts. It should be. Yeah, Becca's posting a workout video. Go, Becca! I know that's what I think every time I see it while I'm pouring a bourbon and lighting my cigar. Go, Becca! Do an extra 10 for me. Okay? Yes.
Are there certain times of days that you would recommend?
Yes.
I posted right before I came here.
Okay.
On the new business page, I got 1 like.
1 like. Okay. Rule note. So her question is, Alyssa's our guest. Everybody give Alyssa 2 claps and a Ric Flair. Woo! Glad you're here. All right. So What's the best time to post?
8
Here's your answer. You ready? If you post twice a week, it should be done on Thursday at 1 p.m., Friday at 1 p.m. Why? Well, everybody's mentally checked out of work. And they've just gotten back from lunch at 1 o'clock, or in the next hour. And they're killing time on Facebook. Facebook servers spike between 1 p.m. and 4 p.m. East Coast time. Bless you. Why? Because people are just getting back from lunch. Tom?
Part about the business page, I always say, is like, with your personal website, your business page, is like, how many people woke up this morning and said, I gotta get on Brian Pate's business page?
And that,
I mean, that's why the personal page is strong to those.
absolutely is. But the other part about it is, if you've got 300 people that like your business page, that's permissioned advertising. One post to 300 people on your Facebook business page is akin to going back to the phone log from what I presented at the very beginning and pulling out 300 of those cards and calling them each individually. Because they've permissioned it. They've said, I want to follow Pettis. They've said, I want to follow David. I want to know what I know Tom's my real estate guy. People love to have a guy for that. I got a guy for that. Tom is my guy. You want to know real estate in Chapel Hill, you got to use my guy. This is Tom. That's what we want.
Yep.
That's what we spend thousands of dollars every year trying to get. Because if we got 10 raving fans that are all talking about Tom, and he can communicate, hey, got a new listing, here's what I'm doing this weekend, here's some, by the way, meet me at the Craft Brew Festival. Tom's one of the best at that. He sits there and he tells people where he's going, gives them a heads up, then he goes, he takes photos with people that he sees that he knows while he's there, and then when he gets home, he posts, had a great time today, it was nice to see so many friends, and boom, 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 he's tied up. He does a great job of it. That's the way it's supposed to be done. It's no different than anything else in this world, folks, when you're running a business. You tell people what you're going to do, then you do it, and then you remind them what you did. Because most agents are telling them what they think they're going to do, and they never freaking do it. That's part of the reason I don't tell people. I broadcast every Friday at 8 a.m. because I'll never hit that. There is no way that my life is going to change to do the same thing at the same time every week, other than to fall asleep. Vicki?
To also help her with her question about what is the best time, because there's actually this little chart thing. If you just Google what's the best time to post on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter, it shows you like a color code of the best times every day to post, and it actually works.
The other thing that I would tell you to do,
That's an app, or you just Google?
No, just
go to Google and
like
type
this.
what's the best time to post in Facebook and click on images.
And if you have like a business Instagram, it will actually tell you when your followers are on the most.
Oh
too.
yeah, check the insights on your different pages.
insights on the business page.
Do what?
I was telling, I know about the insights.
Click insights, yep. All right, so take a look at this ad. Is that exciting to you at all?
No.
Doesn't even have a price. By the way, stop putting ads without, well, we don't put the price, that's how we get them the phone call. No, that pisses them off. That pisses people off. This is a new world. Give me what I need. This is the wrong way of doing it. This is the wrong way of doing it. Here's a great example of what you can do. Now, this ad was placed over a year ago. It's no longer legal. Can anybody tell me why? It doesn't list her company.
Well, she knows better now.
She does.
Because she's part of our office.
Because she's part of our office now instead of where she used to be. Okay? But that's a great example. Here's one. How many of you know Jordan Lee?
Oh, yeah.
I love giving Jordan Lee hell.
Yes.
He was at the hockey game last night drinking beer, and I looked at him and said, your ad this afternoon was illegal. Just aggravating. What do you see here? What's wrong with the ad?
Well, we don't, who's this company? Where's the
No
company?
firm name. Is it a blind ad potentially? There's a link to the website down here to his blog,
Yes,
but there's no call to action. There's no call to action. Yes?
Tony just texted me. Ask him about boosting ads on Facebook, please.
Asking about listing ads on Facebook.
Boosting.
Oh, don't do it. Okay, now,
Wait, why? I need to know, because that was all my ads.
stop boosting your ads.
Wow.
Stop boosting your ads. You're throwing money down the toilet. You might as well be renting with it.
What's boosting?
You click a button, you pay $10, and it shows an extra 500 people. It used to $10 used to hit an extra 900 people, or 900 to 1,000 people. Now $10 gets you about 100 extra hits. You will get more by posting in community pages and being the local expert. You will get much more by being the local expert. You're throwing away money by boosting Facebook ads.
What else do you recommend?
Writing a good ad with multiple ads, because the problem is you can only boost one ad. One ad's not going to get everybody's attention. Some people are going to be excited because this house has 1 acre. Some people are going to be excited because it has 3 bedrooms on the first floor. Some of them are going to be excited because it's got a bonus room and an extra bedroom upstairs for a teen suite. You can't put all of that in the same ad and boost it. They won't approve that many words. So you got to focus on it. Wouldn't this be an awesome teen suite located in Youngsville? Click here for more information and you go to the link. Okay, Michelle?
Well, and Facebook will literally steer more people towards you if you do it as a live video than they will if you pay to boost it.
You betcha. Folks, use your live video. Use your live video, because as soon as you go live, it starts pinging everybody. Hey, Alyssa's going live. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Brian, I don't like the way I look on video, and I don't like the way I sound on video. I have some bad news. That's how you look, and that's how you sound.
Ouch.
GOI. Get over it. Folks, enjoy what God gave you.
Or fix it, just,
No, we don't
work
have.
out.
No. You can work out. You can do it that way. No surgery or any of that crap. I got a friend of mine that I have not seen her in like 7 or 8 months. She had a facelift. Oh my God. She walked up, hey Brian, I'm like, do I know you? I mean, it's like, don't scare people. Don't scare people. So here's Peter Kaima. How many of you know Peter Kaima?
Oh, yeah.
Text him and tell him I'm giving him hell right now in class. It's okay. It's okay. So, wow, over 3 acres. Check out that fire pit, fenced yard and pool, gourmet kitchen to boot, and Wake Forest embedded the new construction. What? Did you say 3-car garage too? Check it out this week. Folks, that sounds like an infomercial. Set it and forget it. Sounds like a car salesman, doesn't it? Try and talk about too much stuff. That's too many photographs. That's too busy. Take this photo and say, how would you like to live in this peaceful setting? Click here for more info. And then take a picture of the swimming pool. Enjoy your summer nights with friends and family with a glass of wine at the pool. And put that ad out. You see where I'm coming from? Break this off into 3 or 4 ads. And by the way, don't forget to put the information on here. Because there's nothing about the Kaima Real Estate Group. There's nothing about Keller Williams. They're dual affiliated and it's a blind ad on all accounts. The one thing he did do good is he's got a link to his website and a call to action. Do something. You see where I'm coming from? It's got to be legal and it's got to be good to get people's attention. Cindy, it doesn't take a lot to do this. All you have to do is learn to do it once and then copy it. The basis for your ads can be the same over and over and over. Don't reinvent the wheel. Folks, every hit song for the last 45 years, every one of them has the same formula. It's a 32-beat intro. Then they go through the first verse. Then it's the chorus. Then they go through the second verse, and they do the chorus. Then there's a little ditty that's called the bridge. Then it goes back to the third verse, and then back to the chorus, and they either bridge or fade out at the end. If you listen to every song that's ever hit the top 100, they all do the same thing over and over. Success leaves clues. Okay? Don't be afraid to engage in more than real estate. This is a Fondle Morrissey ad talking about Long and Foster pledging $25,000 to match the Red Cross donations for Hurricane Harvey. The firm name is there because it's a firm page. The lead gen is good because it's got a link to the website. They call, instead of calling their blog a blog, they call it their newsroom. That gives people a reason to come back and bookmark that site so they can see it over and over again. It's a great way to do it. Here's where your content comes from. Here's where your content comes from. Just read any newspaper article and post a video. Just Pettis, all you got to do is read the article, turn on your Facebook Live, and tell them what the article told you. I was reading an article today in the Wall Street Journal about blah, 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 blah. Here's what I think of it, blah, 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 blah. By the way, if you're thinking of buying a home, selling a home, or investing in real estate, you should call me because I know my stuff. And you pretty much do that in 2 minutes and be done with it. Because if you talk for 30 minutes, only person listening is your mama. Let's be honest. Folks, I teach for a living. I know that at 4:45 on a day that I've taught for 8 hours, ain't but 2 people listening. And that's me, and it's being passed around to the other 50 people in the class. Because the rest of them are thinking, you think you'll let us out early? I think he's about to finish. Let me pack my stuff up. I think he's almost done. By the way, sharing information about Kanye West and Kim Kardashian will always get you clicks. Laugh all you want. We have a geo from our website out at Walnut Creek Amphitheater. Whoever the artist is that's performing, we have a little ping that pops up on your phone if you're a fan on our Facebook page, and it says, "Hey, Garth Brooks is performing tonight. Click here to take a look at Garth Brooks' house in Franklin, Tennessee." And it's got photographs, it's got information, it tells them how much he paid for it. He paid $85 million for that property. How you feel about that $138 ticket now for the lawn? But you'd be amazed at the number of hits that we get on it. All of a sudden, the night of the concert, because it's pinging them only when they're within a mile of the concert venue. It's cool. I have no clue how it works. I pay somebody to do it. Cost $18 per concert. All we have to do is put the link on our website. And it gets people going to the website.
Price of one beer at a concert.
Seriously. 12 ounces. Okay? Rewrite it in your own words. Rewrite it in your own words. Don't plagiarize. Don't plagiarize. You plagiarize and Google will kill you quickly. By the way, it's also illegal. You can be sued for that. Take a national article and say, here are the national numbers from Eric. And now let me tell you, this is what I call the Willard Scott effect. How many of you remember when Willard Scott used to be on the Today Show? He was the one that invented this whole idea. Here's the national weather forecast. Now let's see what's going on in your area this morning. And they cut to the local broadcaster. All of that started by Willard Scott. That's all you're doing. Here's the national numbers. Here's what's going on locally. It takes 15 minutes to put it together. It's powerful. It's making you look like the community expert. They're throwing to you, basically, on the national level. Well, Brian, I don't know where to get national numbers. KCMblog.com. KCMblog.com. $24.95 a month. They'll send you a post every single day, Monday through Friday. All I ask is that when you sign up and it says, how did you hear about us, please put Brian at Pate Realty as my email. Because I get a free month if you do that. I'm up to about 38 free months. I figure I need about to double that and I'll be good till I retire. Okay? But provide that local information. Folks, you should be the hyper-local expert. I'm getting ready to shoot a video in a couple of days where I'm going to be standing by Capitol Boulevard in the middle of rush hour. Hi folks, Brian Pate from the Pate Realty Group at Keller Williams. Doesn't this suck? Well, in 10 years, we're going to have a 6-lane highway with no traffic lights from I-540 all the way to the Harris Road intersection. There will be 7.8 miles of Capitol Boulevard that will have no traffic lights and it will be 6 lanes wide. To learn more, go visit my website. Click here. That's all I was going to say. It'll take me less than a minute on camera. You with me? It's not complicated. Okay? Look at the number of views on this video. I'm literally sitting in my office, talking into my Facebook Live. This is a screen grab. Okay? Now this was from last year, as you can see, June 14th, so I'm technically not illegal here because I don't have my Keller Williams Preferred. If I did this today, I'd have to have Keller Williams Preferred and the Pate Realty Group. You with me? All you gotta do is go live. Go live. We can do it right now. I can literally get my phone out, go live on Facebook, put it in Jane's face, say, Jane, what'd you learn today? What's the best thing you learned today? Cindy, what's the best thing you learned today? I can literally do that for about 30 seconds, and I'll promise you that later when I get back to it, I'm going to tag you in that video, and as soon as I tag you in that video, 200 of your friends are going to watch it. And then I'm going to tag Cindy, and 200 of her friends are going to watch it. Yes,
Is it from your business or your personal page?
Personal page. Personal page for live video because you're hitting a much bigger audience. Just remember, Pate Realty Group, Keller Williams Preferred on all of them. Okay? Yes?
Well, so in terms of your Facebook business page and wanting to grow that audience, my little plan of attack was to start doing live videos.
Yep, you can do that.
And then
Save them on a YouTube channel. So that you can say, hey, here's my post from last year on this date. And now let's talk about what's going on today in contrast. Because I'll promise you, market's going to be different a year from now.
Absolutely.
There'll be about 9,500 listings on the market a year from now. Mark my words, they're about 7,500 right now. And if the inventory goes up by 2,000 units, your days on the market's going to go to about 4 months. It's that close. It's that close. Okay? Live or pre-recorded. Live is always better. It does me no good to watch the State Carolina basketball game on tape delay. Game of Thrones. Don't miss it, because they'll spoil it on Facebook. I got a buddy of mine that has muted 85 friends yesterday on Monday for spoiling Game of Thrones for him because he didn't get to watch it yet.
I haven't seen 5.
Do what?
I haven't seen episode 5.
I don't watch the thing. I have no clue what it is. So
The way to do it is,
Don't look at Instagram, it's already spoiled.
I'm in season 7, so I don't even have to worry about it. I don't like.
See,
my patience not good.
I can't do that. Okay? But generally, your live videos are going to generate 25% or 25 times more the audience than a pre-recorded, formally edited video. Okay? All right. So I'm going to go to this video here. And there are a lot of people that say, I hate Facebook. Yes, you do. It's okay. By the way, this illusion that there's any such thing as privacy, you lost that when you got your phone.
Right.
Your phone knows where you are 24 hours a day, even if, well, Brian, I put mine in airplane mode. Doesn't matter. Well, I don't let it track me. Doesn't matter. Your phone knows where you are at every moment, because if you ever dial, you want to find out if your phone's tracking you, dial 911. Somebody will be there in a couple of minutes. But you have to understand, privacy is an illusion. There's no way. Watch this video. It may scare someone.
Has made itself so necessary to the online experience that for many people, it is the internet. And that's causing some major problems when it comes to user data and security. You can trace a lot of these problems to a phenomenon called the network effect.
I think the first time I ever read about this, they were talking about fax machine, right? The first fax machine is invented, it's totally useless. But the more people who have it, the more useful it becomes, because you can communicate with other people. Facebook is network effect on steroids.
It's an event calendar, a contact book, a photo album. It's a texting, video calling, money transferring, social network that makes millions of dollars a day.
$1 million isn't cool. You know what's cool?
2 billion people. And at that size, the network effects push Facebook beyond useful to pretty much being integral to daily life.
It's actually you personally would miss stuff if you went off Facebook, but it would almost be rude, right? It could be an inconvenience to your peers for you to not be on Facebook, because then they couldn't invite you to things that way. So you create a problem for yourself, and you create a problem for other people by opting out of it.
This FOMO is how Facebook turns the network effect into profit, even though no one pays to use the core service. But advertisers, marketers, and other folks will pay for access to that user data. And because users feel that the free core service is so beneficial, they agree to pay, in a sense, by providing that data. Yeah, read those terms of service. What happened with Cambridge Analytica illustrates how our personal boundaries for using that data in the real world are being tested. The consulting firm hired by the Trump campaign for the 2016 election exploited access to the data of millions of Facebook users. Now, Facebook allows academic researchers more access to user data than commercial companies and app developers. So, a researcher built this personality quiz app under those guidelines. People used it, and in doing so, allowed it to harvest data from their Facebook profiles. But no one really read the terms of service, because it also gave the app access to some data on the friends of the people who took the quiz. These are friends who did not directly consent to the terms of the app. Only 270,000 people took the quiz, but by Facebook's latest estimate, the app was able to harvest the data of at least 87 million users. Here's the kicker. This was all above board. The data collection didn't violate any rules. But what wasn't allowed was handing over that data collected for research purposes to Cambridge Analytica. And when it came out that Cambridge used all this data to develop techniques to target voters during the 2016 election, people were not happy. And users wanted to know why Facebook was allowed to do this.
When you have executives saying it's our responsibility to do X, a good question to ask is, like, in what sense is it your responsibility? Is it your legal responsibility, or are you just saying, you know, you'll feel bad? The situation with Facebook is unique in that there are no legal responsibilities at all, which is different from financial institutions, medical records, other kinds of things like that.
Even though angering its users might seem bad for business, Facebook isn't doing anything unexpected here in regards to your data. Because the aunts and high school friends and work acquaintances on Facebook aren't just the users of the platform, they're also the product. And Facebook sells that product, access to all of that data, to advertisers who want information about potential customers, which is how Facebook makes millions daily without charging you to use it. When you look at it this way, Facebook is very, very good at what it does. Even if the people spending the most time on it don't actually like it that much.
And that's why I think it's important to see that, as far as we can tell from the research that's available, Facebook is not really good for its customers. It makes people feel lonely and depressed.
Matt's referring to this study by the University of Copenhagen. It compared how participants self-reported various emotions before and after quitting Facebook for a week. It's a good reminder that while Facebook does exist to do things like connect you with friends and help you find events, that's secondary to the platform's business goal of mining your data. Put another way, Facebook only cares that you're using Facebook, not whether you like to use Facebook. Which is why the main selling point is that everyone is on Facebook. Because at roughly 2 billion users, those network effects likely aren't going anywhere. And whether you like them or not, you probably aren't going anywhere either.
What do you think of that? It's kind of like the Zillow terms and conditions, isn't it? How many of you actually read the terms and conditions or something like that? Most of you don't. It's called the iTunes effect.
Yep.
Because iTunes updated so often that people got oblivious to reading the terms and conditions because they got so long and they didn't want to waste time. But instead, they gave away value. What other questions do you have? Tom?
Comment, it's frustrating, I know we need to try and stay within the lanes of the commission and everything, but it's like, they kind of act like we as realtors are criminals, while all these other models like the Zillows, right, and all these other boiler rooms in other parts of the country get away with murder.
Yeah, well, and there was a big deal a couple of years ago when Mark Spain first came to town, because they were using cold callers from out of state that were unlicensed in order to make appointments, and the real estate commission slapped them hard. They said, do it again, I double dog dare you. And they made all of their callers in the state of North Carolina get licensed. So, because there were people on the ground with Mark Spain Real Estate here that had an office that were licensed, but they were using people from out of state that were unlicensed. That's illegal in any way, shape, or form. So the Real Estate Commission does trim back the fat on these. The biggest challenge is these wholesalers that say we buy ugly houses, and they don't have to disclose information about the houses. You know, they're buying up at a discount, but they're not required by law to tell them what the actual value of the property is. And many people aren't smart enough to ask the question of a professional realtor. That's how Open Door is surviving. That's how Knock is surviving. You know, Open Door goes in there and says, okay, here's the point at which we can start making a profit off of it, and here's where it's worthwhile. And they go in and they make these offers, and then they knock them down a little bit further. And what we're finding is the people that are using, obviously, number one, there are people that are willing to give up significant amounts of money for convenience, okay? And we're seeing two types of people that are using them. Number one is people that have to go fast. You know, they've gotten a job transfer, they got 60 days to get there, they gotta go. They don't have time to spend 2 weeks putting the house on the market and prepping it and painting it and fixing stuff. They just don't have time. So it's cheaper and easier for them to press the easy button and sell the Open Door.
Yep.
The other piece of it is that the other people that are doing it are people that have been in a house for 5 years and they've done no maintenance on the property. So it needs paint, it's got rotten wood, it's got problems with it that haven't been addressed. And those people just flat out can't afford the cash, so they sell to Open Door so they don't have to worry about doing that. They don't realize that they're paying for it in the long run. So it's like anything else. There's good, there's bad. There's different business models. There's different ways that you can use it. It's up to you as to how you choose to use it. My goal today is to make you legal so you're not the example. Henry?
So where do we go from here? What are some, in the real estate world, everybody wants a piece of it. What are some good tools instead of the rest?
Instead of Facebook, you mean?
No, in Facebook and social media, what are some next avenues? Where can we go to get systemization, content, and or take it further?
I will tell you the simplest thing you can do is communicate with your database on a regular basis. Nothing replaces the birthday phone call. There's a guy named Rich Carpentieri that was a bold coach about 5 years ago for a bold class that I took. And I was the team leader in this office at the time. And he and I chit-chatted back and forth. We got to become good friends. When he came into town, I'd eat dinner with him, blah, blah, blah. Well, I picked up and I have done so ever since. I work. The best thing about Bold is I spend hours working on my database so that I can make calls and I update it. One of the things I did that year was I went out looking for, I would call people saying, I need to know what your birthday is, and I need to know what your wedding anniversary is. For my male friends, I call them 3 days before their wedding anniversary.
Nice.
Hey Eric, it's Brian Pate from Keller Williams Preferred. I see by my calendar that your wedding anniversary, your 10th wedding anniversary is coming up on Sunday. I just wanted to wish you a happy anniversary early because I'm not going to be in the office that day. Eric's going, crap. Today was my anniversary.
Right.
You just want a client for life. But I call Rich every year on his birthday. Now Rich has taught in excess of 10,000 students in real estate classes. And I saw him in Dallas-Fort Worth Airport a few weeks ago when I was on vacation. Just happened to be sitting at the same flight, headed to the same area. And he's like, I got to tell you something. I said, what's that? He says, do you know that out of the thousands of people that I know, other than my wife, my children, and my mother, you are the only one that calls me to wish me happy birthday. Think about how powerful that is. The art of sending a card is gone. You want a sneaky little secret? Hallmark.com. $14 a month. You can send all of the e-cards you want. I have a database with 22,000 people in it. One of the things we're working on right now every day is setting up the database so that that system at Hallmark.com for $14 a month sends a birthday card and an anniversary card to our entire database automatically. Best thing I've discovered in the last 6 months. Makes me look good. Thank you so much for your birthday card. Yeah! And when things happen, folks, people ask me all the time, Brian, what's the best CRM for me to use? And the answer is always, what do you say?
The one you'll use?
No, it's not the one you'll use. It's the one that's so good you don't have to use it every day.
Okay.
When it's programmed, that's when it's valuable. And something as simple as mailing, here's the thing about it. If I've got Hallmark.com and I've got a subscription, I can mail them a New Year's Eve card, a Valentine's Day card, a St. Patrick's Day card, an April shower, bring Mayflower, or spring forward card. I can mail them a Memorial Day card. I can mail them a Father's Day card, a Mother's Day card, July 4th card, Happy Labor Day card, Happy Halloween, Happy Thanksgiving, Merry Christmas, Happy Shaka Khan, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy New Year, whatever it is. And I can program those in so it automatically does it every year. And I can send 300 people the same, I can send 3,000 people the same card for $14 a month. All I have to do is take the time to build the database. The business is simple, folks. It's no different than it was 30 years ago. It's just that the techniques of communicating have changed, and if the technology is not saving you time, it's not worth it. But it takes time to adapt to the new technology. It's going to take you using the new technology once a day, 5 days a week, for 65 business days before you form a habit. You have to use it 65 business days in a row. 65. That is 21 weeks. 21 weeks. Okay? Other questions?
Who's your favorite speaker at restaurant?
Carter was always my guy. He was my coach years ago, so back when he was still starting. So a couple things to give you here. Number one, I have a Facebook page for people that have taken classes from me before. If you go to Facebook and you type in the search, Brian Pate Former Students Mastermind. Once you get to former students, it'll pick it up. But if you will go like that, I post articles on there a couple of times a week. Occasionally I'll post videos, occasionally I'll post information from me. I have stopped posting my listings on there because people said, oh, I don't need to get your emails about your new listing. Okay, fine. But it's been modified for people to have conversations. You can go to that page and type in, hey, I got a situation here that I'm dealing with, can I get suggestions? It's awesome to use. It's got about 200 people on it, so it's fairly small right now. It's also where the information about the CE cruise is going to be, if you'd like to go on the CE cruise. We're going to Bermuda and the Bahamas for a week out of Charleston, September 7th through 14th. You will have access to BICUP, GenUp, and 2 electives, which include the ethics course, which will get you your ethics requirement before December 31st, 2020. So you'll be able to take enough classes on that ship that you will not have to take an update class until 2021 in the spring. So, and we're going to offer other classes like this one that will allow you to take a class every day while you're on board ship, which means your accountant can then write off the entire cruise except for your alcohol.
Which is not included?
The alcohol is not included.
Come on.
Sorry, that's going to double your money. Okay, so I invite you to join that. You can friend me on Facebook. This is where the personal page, Twitter page is DJ Brian Pate. Lots of stats, lots of tracking there. If you go to my Instagram, I'll be quite honest with you. My personal Instagram is the BP8 Realty. You're going to see a lot of pictures of my dogs and my kids and stuff like that, and stuff that's going on in Wake Forest. And then the business page for our Facebook. For our team is actually facebook.com/bpate Realty, because there's a team in Burlington that is also Pate Realty that got to it before I did. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I am finished for today. Thank you so much for your time. Hope you had a good time.